what happens when we die. This message was given to me by my spirit guides while I was dreaming. And it is currently 9:35 a.m. on July 23rd, 2017. So I'm not sure what brought about this very interesting dream. It was very much designed to convey a story of a past life. But I do believe yesterday, preparing for the new moon, I was doing some intention setting, and I was drawing my new moon mandala. So for those of you who would like to get involved with your soul's natural, organic flow that's very much in sync with the moon cycles, I would recommend the New Moon is My Calendar, New Moon Calendar Journal. And you can find this journal here, www.themooniSmyCalendar.com. And basically what you do is you map out your every single day of the moon cycle. And you can put little pictures, little images, little words such as powerful vibration, be easy on yourself, happy, creative. You can even mark your menstrual cycle. So this is to help you understand the points in your chart that you have this whoa energy, so you can actualize the full potentiality of those days where just naturally you're really powerful. And you can find that through the patterns, because we're very much move and groove with the moon cycle. So I'm not going to get too much into why you guys should go out there and make your cycle. You track your moon cycles, track every day, so that you can kind of get to know your soul's, your energy's natural rhythm. So this I did yesterday, and it's coming straight from my subconscious, you could say, even with the light language, straight from my subconscious. It's very ethereal image. So I went to sleep after doing this, and the story of what happens when we die came up. And I took some notes and drew some images right when I woke up. And I got my harmonizers I'm holding and my lovely rosewood and vanilla candle in front of me. So the setting of the story takes place in a town, I believe, in Northern Europe. And it was during the age of the monarchs. We lived in a very small community, you could say. And there was a castle, but it wasn't one of those castles that you'll read about in textbooks. It's very small, very much designed for a small town, for a small community. Even though there was not a lot of people, we had land and we had forests and these rolling hills of green that seemed to be all around. But then we also had this beautiful, wonderful coast. This coast of water that was always chilly and that always seemed to be cloudy above the outstretched waters that just went on and on. So a natural disaster happened one day. All of a sudden, this storm was above us, and I remember attending to the horses. I don't know, maybe that was my job. I was attending to the skittish horses that were all just fearful and running amok, and the banging of the thunder had them all just ready to just bounce out of their stall. So I was attending to them, and then all of a sudden, I was no longer there. I was elsewhere. I was in this hall, just like a massive hall, and there was a path, very much a path when you are waiting in line to go into a concert, a path designed for hundreds or thousands of people, or you're waiting in line to go to the movie theater. And I drew this path, very much like this. This was the path, except it was much longer. And in this elsewhere place, where there was this path, there was around 30 individuals with me, and we were all quite confused to where does this elsewhere come from? Where are we? Because the hall very much reminded us of a hall possibly in the monarch's castle, but it was different. And these rows, this path, had us all quite confused. So I remember I was the first to begin this journey, to travel down this long path that nobody understood. Why is it here? Why is this path here? So I was just, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna walk down this path. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I am. I don't know what's happened. I have no memory of anything. All I remember is these basic ideas about who I am, my life, my job. So being probably just a farmer's girl, a girl that took care of horses, I went down and people were following me. People were following me, and each time, each row, you could say, out of these seeming endless rows, there was a change in us. There was a change in me. It is though we were, the more rows, the further we got down this path or this journey, the more we found our memories, our ideas, our wants and desires slipping away from us. So while I was getting down to this tunnel, it's like we went down these rows, row after row, and then all of a sudden, I was the first one to go down an all-white tunnel. And it wasn't like a tunnel underground. It was just white space, and there was this white path, and it was very much a straight line. It wasn't these rows, these zigzagging rows. It was a straight line, but couldn't tell where it was going because everything was just white. Walking forward, it was just white. Couldn't see the destination, couldn't see the end because everything was just white. So I was the first, and I looked back, and what I saw is this going on. I saw the rows, the zigzagging rows, began to turn into like a maze. People started skipping ahead, skipping back, doing all of these weird things. And I looked back. It's like, okay, I'm going to continue to walk forward. I'm sure they're going to kind of figure out that they created this maze. But that was what was going on, and I didn't know what to make of it. But I knew eventually everybody was going to get to this white tunnel. It just seemed like everyone was stalling. They were stalling, and I didn't know why, or what was the reason they were stalling. From what? From what? The white tunnel? So when I got to this white tunnel at the end, it just seems white emerged with black, or was like white and black. And in the black, which was the end, you could say, it wasn't really an end, because the path literally just dumped off into this infinite universe. This infinite universe of darkness with starlight, but permanently darkness. And it went on and on and on and on in every possible direction. And I realized, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously or energetically, because again, in this world, you could say the dying world, when you're dying, or the place you go right after you die, there is no language, there is no vocabulary, there's no definition to describe. I feel the rose in the beginning in this monarch hall, this very wide, long, massive hall, was very much designed to fit our mental construct as a human from our previous life. And then the white, when we stepped into the white, that is when we have somehow cracked open our mind. And when we cracked open our mind through the process of walking down each row, we shake off our beliefs each row. We cross down and move further into the infinite, I like to say celestial light, the most organic, original state of our energy. We lose grip of our tight hold of these constructs, and when they break, the infinite white is born. An infinite white is a sign of our mental constructs have broken away, and we're stepping into more like a dream, an ethereal, imaginative, visionary space. It's just space. So at this universe, in the dream, time went forward. Don't necessarily know, there was like a breakage. Don't know how I got from this to that. Then all of a sudden, I saw the people, the rest of the people. They got to the universe. It might have took them a while, and they might have got distracted, confused, and in this maze that they created, they were there. And they were like, oh, this is the end, but it isn't the end. The end of the white space just leads to darkness, and the darkness is just infinite. So what's going on? We've entered the universe. What does this mean? What is happening? Is this a dream? Have we all died? And by then I think people have realized that, some realized that they were dead. Others still thought it was just a dream. Those who were very attached to their physical body very much were just thinking they were dreaming. And I was there. But I wasn't there. I was just a voice in the cosmos. I had no physical appearance. You couldn't even find me. But I was very much like an energy, like a light being. But it's like you couldn't see, but I could see myself being the viewer of my own dream. And what I was doing, it was just like a sweet Native American, innocent, childlike being. Had my arms open, becoming the breeze, and I said, who we truly are is just molecules. I said that in my dream. Who we truly are is just molecules, and I was the voice in the sky to these people who were confused. They didn't know whether they were dreaming, if they were dead, what was going on. Some of them were sort of fearful, clinging to each other for support, for guidance, but there was no guide until I came. And I was, who we truly are is just molecules. And then the voice that was me said to the individuals, and I have notes, because I wanted to be very precise about what I said in my dream. I am the fish. Sometimes I am the mouse, and sometimes I am the elephant. And I was very dramatic and theatrical. When I said I am a fish, I crawled down into the floor like a little fish, squeezed my body small, and when I said I am the mouse, I was getting a little kind of smaller. And then when I said, I am the elephant, I stretched my arms out and I was like, I am sometimes the elephant. But my true self is nothing at all. I am nothing so that I can be everything. And being theatrical, I opened my arms when I said everything, and I was everything. I was the molecules in the fish, the molecules in the mouse, the molecules in the elephant. I was nothing, though. I was not physical. I was just molecules, energy. And I very much woke up to that statement. I'm going to repeat it again because it was very important. It's what helped me to cross over from a life with very limited constructs, laws to no laws. It's like, how do we get from heavy laws to there's no laws at all? That's a quantum leap. How did I make that quantum leap? And I'll repeat it. Who we truly are is just molecules. I am the fish, I am the mouse, and sometimes I am the elephant. But who I truly am is nothing at all. I am nothing so that I can be everything. So the individuals, the people, hearing the voice in the universe, the multiverse, of infinite darkness and starlight, they didn't know what to make of my proclamation. Something strange happened. These individuals, they decided they didn't want to join me. And they turned back. They turned back. I don't know if it was fear of the greatness of the universe, or if they just couldn't let go of their want, their desire. There was something that tied them to going back, tied them to the life they lived. And as though they couldn't imagine being without it, the want, the desire. So in this dream, I remember something that was said to me, quite peculiar. A man, as everyone else was walking back, they were all a group. They were walking back. This man said to me, I would like to be a great king. I would like my reign to be for a long time, and I would like to have many children. He said that to me as though he was speaking to God in the more biblical statement, perspective, ideology. And I looked at him. You want to be king? It's quite limiting. I'm here proclaiming that we are all molecules, we are everything. And yet, your greatest thought is to simply become king. And I knew that wasn't his thought. It was a part of the world he lived in, greatness to his world. He was still very attached to his world, in the laws, in the beliefs of greatness in his world. And greatness was being a king. He wanted to be greatness. So he kind of understood the point of what I was saying, and we are all great. But he still couldn't connect with the greater energy that is beyond his greatest conceivable thought. His glass ceiling his greatest conceivable thought, or the greatest thing ever to be for a human, or for just a person. A person, even in the astral realm, even a dream, is to be a king. I was like, okay. And he walked back, and as though I blessed them. And that was very much the end of the story. The end where they went back to Earth, and I decided to journey the cosmos. And I feel this dream is very much a metaphor. It was a divine message to me to give to you all about what happens when we die. I found my most organic self when I independently minded, stepped outside of the group and ventured on my own. That is when I discovered something beyond my greatest conceivable thought. And those individuals that were all clinging to each other, that were all attached to each other, there's nothing wrong. There's no right or wrong, anything at all. None of that right or wrong. But they very much had this same sort of, all the same sort of thoughts in this group energy of the confusion. It's as though they couldn't imagine. They were holding on to each other, because holding on to each other was holding on to any of the life that they can recall from their previous life. These people reminded them. They couldn't let go of their life, so they're holding on to each other, because holding on is holding on to any little memory, any little thing that ties them to their physical life, because they couldn't let go. So being the guide, being the voice in the multiverse, speaking to them, I gave them a choice. It's very much like spirit guides give us a choice when we die. You can join me and be everything, be the molecules and everything. You can go back to Earth. But I feel their going back to Earth was more of an impulse. It was more coming from fear of the unknown than I would like to experience another life. Genuinely, authentically, I volunteer to come to Earth. Because I want to be the fish. I want to be the elephant. I want to be a mouse. It didn't come from that enthusiastic, I am a powerful being. I just want to use my infinite time to be a mouse. It came from a place of the want and the desire binds me to this physical, to the life. So they went back hoping going back is going back to the life that they left. But no, they went back and they went into a different life. A life, maybe a town where they all met up, where they all somehow knew each other through acquaintances, through siblings, through husbands and wife, through just crossing paths on a simple walk through the meadow. But it was not the same life they were entering to. Even though it was a different life, they were still had the same wants and the desires, and were trying to make the same life. They were trying to make the same life that they don't really remember in the new life. They can't recall what that life was, but impulsively being attached, they trying to make it, remake that life. This was a very profound dream, eye-opening for myself. It showed me what happens when we die. And it shows me that being here on Earth, the most important thing we can do is expand our imagination. Expand our imagination when we meditate, when we dream, when we're sleeping. when we set our intentions and when we visualize our greater life. The imagination of children is something that we should always carry with us, even when we're old. When we carry this with us, especially when we die, we have this expansive imagination. It's like we're fearless. We don't fear a person or a voice in the multiverse telling us that we are nothing, that we are the fish, the mouse, and the elephant, and that being nothing, we are everything. We are not fearful of that statement. Because through our practice of expanding our imagination, we have set ourselves free, and that freedom is open. It is open to ideas or to things that we never really thought about to be true. And that can help us in this life and help us in all the lives, so we can have a true ease in our transitioning all the greatness that we are doing simultaneously. The bigger, the deeper, the more profound your imagination is, your visualization skills, the more you become a visionary. Like children, everything they do is quite spunky. That's a visionary, the spunk. And the thinking and the peculiarness, the spunk, the independent mind is what will help us to move through the many dimensions, the many laws of the dimensions, and how to move through them, move onward, move out, move in with ease in our transition. So I hope you guys enjoyed my story and found it very insightful on what happens when we die. Thank you.